Good evening, guys, gals. Ted from Pewview Farms here. It is Tuesday evening, and we are working on the 5610. As you can see, she's a little bit light in the iron today. We were able to get the fuel tank out of it. Reason being the fuel tank's coming out is because it has a really pretty good leak. I don't want to say severe, but a pretty good leak. So we were able to get the fuel tank out. We were able to get the steering wheel off, other than I still have some etching to do. This piece right around here, still that's part of the steering wheel. It needs to come off yet. I haven't really messed with it because I really wanted to get this fuel tank out. So, what a pain, all I gotta say. I mean, I've worked on worse things that were tighter, but this was pretty tight. I ended up having to take the battery off so I could get those two bolts that the tank mounts to here. It mounts to there, and it mounts to those two. So, these ones weren't too bad, but those two were a pain. It was just, battery was wedged in there. So we had to take the battery out. But we got the dash all disconnected so we can figure out what is wrong with the ignition. I know some of my viewers have had some really good ideas of what might be the problem with the ignition, and definitely going to be that route as soon as I get everything back together. But as it stands right now, I want to get this fuel tank basically cleaned up really good. She's got some, I wouldn't say surface rust, but it has really hard residue on it, so it needs to be scraped down a little bit so I can get it back down to the original paint. And there's some spots where the paint's wore and a smidge rusty. Not really, I wouldn't say there's really any rust on it at all. And then once I get it cleaned up and get it dried out really good, I'm going to fill it up with water, and we'll let her sit and see if we can see where the gasoline is leaking out of, or fuel, I should say. So, yeah, we're diligently working on this project. Hopefully tomorrow, I think what I might do is, after work, clean the tank up with the parts washer really good, and at least troubleshoot that. It may not be as bad as I thought. You know, it might be just a really tiny pinhole. It could be something as simple as a loose hose. I mean, it just, who knows? So, I do know that this ferrule right here that goes to the bottom petcock on the fuel tank, it was pretty loose. So, but I don't know how, if it was loose, how fuel will get from here up halfway up the tank. So, and it might be part of the problem. So hopefully it's nothing major. I mean, like I said, if it's bad enough where it is, but to me, by looking at it, it's not. I don't think this fuel tank's going to need to be replaced. I'll be honest with you. I'll put 90% down that it probably don't need to be replaced. Just needs to be cleaned up really good, and might be just a braze or two if there is any kind of pinholes. So that'll save me $150. So, but anybody that's interested in taking a fuel tank out, here's what it looks like after it is done with and out. I imagine a lot of the Fords similar to these models, maybe even the 5000, 4000 series. I would assume that they're probably similar. Steering wheel has to come off. The instrument panel / cowl on the front of the steering wheel has to come off. You have to loosen this hood up. Basically, I took every bolt off of the top hood. And if you can get your exhaust off, more power to you, because then you can take the whole hood off. Well, we couldn't get the exhaust off. I tried everything, and I wasn't going to ruin anything more on this. And I've already made myself a headache of what's going on here. So, yeah. Basically, that was it. I mean, the tank was actually pretty simple. I mean, I'm actually looking forward to getting it put back in, I'll be honest with you. So, yep, so we're going to get that tank cleaned up tomorrow. We're going to get some H2O in it, and we'll let her sit, and we'll drink a couple coffees, maybe a cold beer after work. and we'll sit there and watch, see where the water's coming from, and then we'll go from there. We'll get that fixed, and I'm trying to think what else. Really, that was the only really other mechanical issue other than the ignition. I want to get that ignition fixed. And, you know, if we got time, we'll do some lights and stuff like that. If not, this tractor can get back together and be ready for hay season 2019. So, you guys can see the Farmall's got a brother to sit next to, brother from another mother. So that's where the Farmall is backed into and parked. Excuse my messy garage, guys. This shop, like I said, is a work in progress. Hopefully here soon, you know, when I'm not tinkering on shit up here, you know, I can get stuff cleaned up a little bit. At least so you can move around in here a little better and work a little better. Lighting is really poor. You know, that's another issue. So I got to get another trouble light up here, so I can work on stuff, because I have lots and lots of projects. But this is a really good tractor, guys. For those of you who do have them, I do know, I believe it's a DLK Dave, DLK Hay. I believe he's got a 4610, and he's been pretty good through the comments, helped me along on this. There's been a ton of guys. I wish I could name you all, but I have selective memory / amnesia. So, but any of you guys that have been helping me along in this process, I greatly appreciate it. I'm really going to need your guys' help when I start getting into the Farmall Super A. Definitely, for sure. But in the meantime, priorities take number one, and this Ford is priority. This, like I said, is a main hay tractor. And hay season's coming, you know, within a month, 40 days, right around there. So I want to get this back together, going, and I'd like to be using it, to be honest with you. There's some things that I could have used this tractor for here already this spring, but I put it out of commission. So, but just want to let you guys know I finally got the damn tank off, and making progress on this thing. You know, I guess if I work a couple hours a night, we'll get there. So, tank will get problem solved tomorrow, and then I'll go from there. And if there's not a leak in the tank, then it had to have been from that that fairing. That's the only thing I could think. Because, like I said, that was the wrench took that off real easy. And then this here, but that's just a breather, I believe. I think. That hooks into the top of the tank at the neck, and it was plugged into a hose. This thing just fell right off. But I believe it's just a breather. I think. So, that shouldn't be an issue. So, hopefully. But I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there that probably work a lot cleaner and a lot more organized than I do. I do like to keep a tidy place. I'm not going to lie. I really do. But, I don't know. There's just certain things, you know. I wish I had a tool cart that I could keep right with me, where I could be leaving the tools right there. You know, one of the magnetic trays for all these freaking bolts and hardware that I keep knocking off the seat, off the running boards, and keep picking them up. I think I probably lost half of them already. So, you know how that goes. But, fun project, guys. I tell you what, I've been learning a lot when I dig my hands into stuff like this. Like I said, I am no mechanic by any means. I'm self-taught. You know, I didn't have anybody when I was younger showing me how to do these kinds of things. I didn't do it. You know, I took it to a mechanic. I spent the expensive buck, and I paid for it. And as I've gotten older through the years, I like to save my money because I don't have any. And trying to do these things myself has saved a lot of money, and it's gained me a lot of respect for mechanics, and it's gained a lot of respect, you know, for the tractors. I've learned a lot more. I take care of my stuff a lot better too, I'll be honest with you. I really do. Because I know what a pain in the ass it is to fix these things. So we'll give her one more shot for you guys. Like I said, The Super A and the 5610 are partners in crime for a while. They're both out of commission. I mean, if I get a third tractor in here that don't run, I'd be gold. They say three's a charm. No, I don't need another tractor. It's not running. So I think this thing's going to be pretty simple, though. I tell you, I love it, though. Just looking at it. I walked in the garage here, and I stood by this thing for 5 minutes. Just ooh, ah. So, all right, guys. I just wanted to drop in and say hello, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday evening. And I look forward to talking to you all real soon.
Thank you.